welcome the man of the hour, Councilman Curtis Jones Jr.
I'm going to need you to move up a little bit. I need you to come up a little bit closer. Because I want to talk to you, and I need you with me. So first and foremost, why did we pick this site? Why did we do the announcement right here? If you look out of that window, and I take you back 20 plus years, this was an abandoned bookbinder. In the days of trying to export jobs overseas, the owner was done. Energy costs had gotten too high. He had decided, Mr. Governor, he was going to just call it quits. Two people that are here in this room, Marjorie Oglesby and Miller Parker, saw a vision. Give them a round of applause. And they saw this building not for what it was, but for what it could be. And that success was contagious. It spread over into the mall next door, where you have one of the most profitable Lowe's, one of the most profitable ShopRites, in spite of the soda tax, still there, right? It spread even further to 52nd and Parkside. If you came up here, you saw the 50 plus units that just went on display and open for business. Thanks to my senator and my state rep, we were able to change the environment here. First and foremost, I want to thank my wife, Giselle Jones, who has been a public servant for the city of Philadelphia, and I need to say this, since 2001. So you're not new, you were here before I was. She has served under 3 mayors, Mayor Street, Mayor Nutter, and now Mayor Kennedy. So she has been around. And the most important thing about that is she is respected. People like her better than me. I want to thank my children for putting up with a father that sometimes had to work overtime, sometimes couldn't be there in the way that they might have wanted, but I'm proud of each and every one. And as importantly for the grandchildren, the wonderful, and I bet nobody can guess how many I have, but the wonderful grandchildren they produced, we're at 15. They read the part of the scripture that said, be fruitful and multiply. They took it to heart. I want to thank my surviving mothers, because my birth mother passed away, but I was fortunate to have 2 that adopted me. Carolyn Lee, affectionately known as Granny. Where's that? And Sandy Jones, who married my father. Is she here? Okay, I want to acknowledge them because they picked up the mantle and they took care of me in their absence. I want to say to all of you, and the reason why I wanted you closer, people meet each other. And when they work together, when they fight together, when they cry together, that changes each person. You become a little bit of them and them a little bit of you. Senator Hughes, when I was elected and we had a heart-to-heart right before I got sworn in, I'll never forget what you said to me. You said, if you care about people, this will be the hardest job you ever had. And I got to tell you, you were right. Governor Wolf said, he changed my perspective on things. He said, I'm going to simplify it. He said, you need schools that educate, jobs that pay, and a government that works. That has been my mantra. This young lady right here, Blondell Reynolds Brown, tutored me on the legislative process, and all it cost me was tea and yogurt. That was wonderful. I spent time with Congressman Brady when we negotiated the septic strike. You remember that? And what he told me was, and it was pitched, they were fighting each other, and they were about to walk out, and he stopped them. And I remember this. He said, don't tell me what you want. Tell me what you need to go back to feed your people, and we'll strike a deal right here. And when you boil it down, Bruce, that's what you need is what you need for your people, and it doesn't have to be that complicated. Usually, ego's get in the way. Mayor Nutter told me that I wouldn't understand my job completely until the third term. And he was right. I ran up to him one time right after the I ran right up to him right after the flood on Main Street. They had done that, and it was up to 11 inches, 11 feet. And I said, you need to get those fire trucks in there right now. Start pumping that water out. And he calmly eating his yogurt. I'm in his office. You know, had his security detail around him. He said, well, Councilman, it doesn't work until the water starts to recede, and then you can pump it out, because otherwise it just comes right back in. Okay. Those words have helped me through floods, fires, and even an Ebola outbreak. So talking to people when you meet them helps. But most importantly, the words in Matthew chapter 25, verses 35, 36, and 40 describe what a public servant should be. Amen. Come on. For those of you who are hungry, did you feed them? When I was thirsty, did you give me water and drink? When I was a stranger, did you invite me in? When I needed clothing, did you clothe me? When I was sick, did you look after me? And when I was in prison, did you visit me? And the king replied, truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of these, the least brother and the sister of mine, you did for me. Come on, man. If that is not in your heart, you're in the wrong business. Come on, Congressman. All right. I'm going to talk about you. But the congressman told me when he got sworn in, I've known him over 30 years now, but when in his new role as congressman, you know what he said to me? Don't bring me small things. Remember that? He said, don't bring me small things. He said, bring me elephants. Bring me elephants to slay, and I will do that. And I understood what he meant. Infrastructure and bridges repaired are the big things, and he's going to help us with traffic in the city of Philadelphia. But what I want you to know, and the 150,000 people I've met over the way, since I've been elected, you have touched me, Pastor, and you have changed me for the better. And I want you to know I've learned one key thing. We is always greater than me. We, let's say it again, is greater than me. If we work together, then we can accomplish great things. And that's what I need in you today. What I've learned is that people in their daily lives are often, Kathy, too busy to understand what we do. I could put $100 on this desk, and unless you read my speech, you would not know the laws I passed. Probably too, Governor. But they know if they've been fed clothing, they know if they've been serviced, if their playgrounds are right, if their schools are educating their kids, and if jobs are paid. They know the translation of that. So I understand and I get it, and I'm going to, my New Year's resolution is talk less and do more. I'm going to talk less and I'm going to do more. it's at these times when you run for re-election, you get to talk to your employer and get a job evaluation. And it's not bragging when you do that. It's not being, you think you're all that because you did all of these things, you cut all of these ribbons. No, it is to remind us why voting and having elected officials is important. Because we, at the GSD, get stuff done. Let them know about the progress that has been made. And I want to tell you here and now that we've made progress from Main Street to Market Street. And on my watch, we've opened schools and we've closed prisons. Literally. House corrections again. Closed. And we've opened new schools in the bag to make sure that our kids are educated. We want to invest in pre-entry as opposed to re-entry. To make sure our young kids never, ever, ever have to go through that system. Never have to see the things we've had to see, to make it better for them. Everybody knows, every planner knows that if a child can't read by the time they're in the 4th grade, they know how many prison cells to build by the time they're 18. If you know the problem, you can deal with the solution. And that's what we intend to do. I want you to know that I used to think I was a revolutionary. I had a nice afro. And I would say, burn, baby, burn. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. But as a mature man, I believe in build, baby, build. From Presby Life, where we put 53 new units together, I want to continue that. Look out the window and see 52nd and Parkside. It is transformed by the developments that are there. If you look at 59th and Market, they're putting up the steel for the largest single RAPI grant in the Commonwealth. Because that's what matters. We're going to get stuff done. From New Portland to on Henry Avenue to Walking Ridge Avenue. Josh, I'll never do that again. So, ever ask me to do it. So we walked from Mania to Andorra looking at properties. And we identified 188 historic properties because there is such a thing as too much of a good thing, where people were overdeveloped. There were properties that were built in 1714. That's before this country was founded. George Washington literally took a drink of water on the way up. But greedy developers wanted to build on every inch of that. And we did a moratorium on demolition and then a certification of historic properties will keep that character of that strip in its entirety. The second most historic strip in the city of Philadelphia, up to So from Manatana Farms to Morris Street, we've made a difference. From outdoor, and I'm sorry, the mayor's not here. So God made the world in, what it was, 6 days and then he rested? Mayor Kenny made a playground in 7 without a break. All the 53rd of March, so we're thankful for him. And the reason that is important is a young man that many of you won't know. His name is Rel. Young man would watch me and Captain Jet walk up and down the street, and I would catch him early in the morning coming off his shift. And if you know what I mean by a shift, he was head on his swivel, doing what he was doing, and he looked at me and he was trying to break and get away, but I made eye contact with him and it was too late. So when I walked up to him, he said, you know, you got me over here. I don't really want to do this anymore. Just give me a job. Get me out of here. I want to be able to work with my family, to have dignity. About a month later, Governor, it was on the news, and we watch the news differently. When people pass away, the first thing we do is pray for the soul. The second thing we do is wonder where it was, because we know what we have to do. We have to go to another teddy bear memorial for another young man. When they gave his government name, and I didn't know who it was, he had his funeral, and then somebody said, Warren Davis, I hope he's here, he said to me, why didn't you go to Rel's funeral? I said, Rel? I said, yeah. I said, he passed? He was like 232 of the murders that happened in the city of Philadelphia at that time. We're going to find a way to save their lives. We're going to stop them. 300 whales washed up on the shore of the Schuylkill. Every marine biologist in the country would scramble down to take cultures and find out why and try to prevent that. But when 300 young men every year find themselves the victims of guns, nobody cares. So, we're going to find a way to help these young men take a hammer out of this hand, put a real hammer in the other hand, take the one that kills and put it away, and the one that builds to keep you busy. We're going to find a way to do that. So I can talk about, you're not a lawmaker until you pass some laws, right, Dwight? So I passed a few: good cause, ban the box, the tow bill regulations, decriminalizing marijuana, so that our young people didn't have that scarlet letter. So I've done a couple of them. But what I'm proud about, when 3,000 workers at the airport, many of whom were making tips, they were in all kinds of weather, bagging your luggage to go on planes. They were making tips. We gave them a living wage, Emmanuel. We gave them from $7, some of them, to $12.50. And according to the governor yesterday, we ain't done yet. We're going to 15. So we're going to work for them. The average rent in the city of Philadelphia is $1,100 a month. If you can't survive off of, a minimum wage of $7, we're going to raise it for you and help you out. I want you to know that, and I'm going through this, you've been here a while, but there was a young man named Bernard Scott who died at Tustin. He was shot. The reason he was shot, he was watching two guys fight, like all of us had probably done. And when the fist fight turned into a gunfight, they couldn't shoot at each other, they shot him. What was disturbing wasn't just that the murder, but that when we searched the playground, there were 4 other guns found on that site. People were going to school, stashing them in the playground, and then coming back and retrieving them. Wow. So, I want you to know, after we grieved, we came up with solutions. Representative Cephas and I created the Safe Carter program, which took cameras to deal with the main routes where kids were coming from neighborhoods, so that when they were dismissed, the real-time crime center was watching them. To go to Winfield, to go to Hilltop, to go to Lansdowne, to save them sometimes from themselves. We had 7 a.m. Monday Monday morning roll call meeting. I know the principals hated that. To find out what was going on the week before so that we could figure out ways to make sure that the young people didn't come to clash with each other. Isn't that right, Ron? Right? And thank God, knock on wood, we haven't had a murder in that playground or on those groups since. So, what I want you to know is that it's okay to be a revolutionary, you better be a solutionary. I want you to know that, God willing, in the next 100 days, we will hopefully be victorious and be re-elected. But I need you to know that I'm going to do 4 things. I got that from you. I'm going to narrow it down. So I'm going to do these 4 things, and I know it's being taped, so you hold me to it. I'm going to establish an affordable housing strategy in this city. Prevents gentrification and allows young people like my daughter Casey and her husband Mujahid. They bought a house off a sheriff's sale, put money into it, and now that's probably one of the most important investments they will ever make in their lives, and I'm proud of them that they did that. Give them a round of applause. So we're looking at a lease-to-own program on it. We might have to do it up at the state. We may have to do it that way, but we want it registered so that it's not by fly-by-night realtors that take advantage of young couples or singles. We want to make sure that it's registered and they actually avoid that 20% down so that your neighborhood doesn't change around it. Second thing that we are going to, I'm going to push for, and with a few of my colleagues' help, we're going to get done, is we're going to invest more in pre-entry than re-entry. We are going to establish what is called a handyman's program, where we get young people to learn the trades so that they can fix things in the neighborhood. There's plenty of work, but it's more than people outside of the neighborhood. We're going to turn that around. Third thing that we're going to do is establish a school-to-job pipeline. Not school-to-prison pipeline. My colleagues and I talked about this in budget a while ago, and some departments got the memo. 1/3 of fleet management's staff now comes from Randolph Votech. They're starting to design programs that everybody don't want to go to college. Everybody don't want to be from Villanova or from even Penn State. Some people want a paycheck that allows them dignity. And we have a shortage of skilled labor. Isn't that right, Dawn? Didn't you tell me that? And so we're trying to encourage each of those departments to find a pathway from a high school to a job and a paycheck. And that's one of the things that we are going to do. Number 4, I'm almost done, is stop the bleeding. Right. We got to end the violence in our community. And we got to work with the mayor to implement his 100 days program on anti-violence. Movita, you played a part in that. We gotta figure it out because our babies are killing themselves. And then finally, number 5 is that we are going to deal with the traffic, and this is why I love you, Dwight. Other than the fact that I know you, but Dwight is Congressman Evans, has agreed to work with us with the Department of Transportation to deal with in Roxborough, Manayunk, and East Falls. If you try to get from the 8th District downtown, it's a nightmare. It's like a nightmare. You probably do better walking. And so we need to find other ways to get bridges, and it may not be in our lifetime, Governor, that it gets built. But if we don't start now, we'll never get it done. So I want you to know that I have a specific agenda that I want to prioritize. And let me tell you what it's really, really all about. There's a young lady, there are two of them. Sanaya, where are you? Stand up. Come up here. Come up here, Sanaya. Where do you go to school?
Penn Charter. Penn Charter.
Sanaya is from West Philly. Sanaya was educated here. Sanaya overachieved in her school. Sanaya is a playwright. Sanaya is a photographer. Sanaya is amazing. And every person... Every young person like that deserves a shot.
Right.
We fought to get her into Penn Charter. It's in the 4th district, so. But what I was most proud of was when she started talking. Who's your headmaster?
Dr. Ford.
When Dr. Ford came in and started grilling her, I mean, like trying to almost interview her to why do you deserve our school, she gave him every bit of it back. He asked her, I'll never forget this meeting, he asked her what you had read over the summer. What was this book you read?
Little Women and Starving.
And so it got better. He tried to grill her and make her see, well, what was the subject and what was the theme and was there a subplot to it? She went toe to toe with him. I was like, this. Person we're fighting about is a young lady, and I don't want to shock her, Desiree Whitfield. Where's Desiree? I see you. Don't look around, I see you. Don't make me point you out, Desiree. Stand up. Stand up. Desiree, I'll make the security come get you. Schools that educate, jobs that pay, and governments that work. Government failed her. I'm not going to go into the details, but this, I see a lot of candidates understand this is not for kids, it hurts. Sometimes, in spite of whatever you can try to do, doing your best is not good enough. But when our babies are dealt with the way they are sometimes by systems that are covering their own behind, rather than deal with the problem at hand, I will not stand for that, and you shouldn't stand for it. So we have 100 days left. And many of you want to know what you can do. First of all, I want to recognize my former chief of staff. Is he here? No? He left? He's in the hallway? And then my former deputy chief of staff. There's a pattern here. But Charlita, are you around?
Yeah.
She's right there.
Oh, there she is. Can you put the camera down for a minute and come and turn around? Put the camera down. Miss Davis has agreed to be my campaign manager for the next 100 days. She's mentored by Al Spivey, Al Spivey. And it's difficult being in an employment situation and then friends. Somehow we've managed to do that. And I'm thankful for it.
Love you, brother.
Love you back. So you can work with them to help me get on the ballot. That's something you can do. You can write a check, either through that or AdBlue. Because don't we have that now?
Yes.
Yes, we have that.
Yes, we got it.
we came into the 20th century, 21st century. You can walk door to doors with me. You can make phone calls with me. We are opening our office next week across the street. We need your help. If you have a lawn sign, which many of you do not, you can take one if you have one. They're in the hallway. But most importantly, at the end of the day, what everybody can afford, what everybody can do, is pray for me.
Yes.
Keep me in prayer. Keep our city in prayer. So that we do the right thing when we have the opportunity. So I need you. And with that, God bless you and God bless our state.